Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. We're just going to briefly talk about animations. I'm going to show you how to create animations for your designs. And today's class is just going to be a very short one. So I'd advise you pay attention, use your eyes and your ears to follow through. Well, before we go into animations, I want to quickly show you how to design a site nav in case you ever have to work on a dashboard. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. What you want to do is get your icons in place. And you know we usually get our icons iconified. And first thing I want to search for is dashboard. Because that's like usually the first screen. I'll go for something a little bit rounded. I think I saw that in the first one. Yeah, this one. I'll go for this. And let me increase that to 64. And then we can also have, let's say we're working on a learning management system, just as like the LMS, right? That we're all familiar with. So we can have students. So for that, we're going to be using a profile icon. Let me type in users because I need more than one. Okay, this is much better. I think I'll go with this. I just don't increase this to 64, just like we did right now. And remember what we always talked about, consistency in your icon styles. So if you're making use of an outlined icon, okay, for the dashboard, make use of the same outline icon for the rest of the items that you have on your site nav bar. Don't mix up both. If you want to go for the field icons, then stay consistent on the field icons. So you can have students and you can have tasks. I don't know if I can find anything. Okay. So I'll go with this. Increase that to 64 as well. And what else can we possibly have here? I just have settings because I'm just trying to show you. I have settings here and we can now have logouts. That's two lights. So I'm going with this extend. Okay, so we've gotten this now. What we want to do next is just arrange them. So let me change all of this to white so that you can properly see my screen. Say that we have a dark background. Yes, so let's have that instead. So I'll just get my text. Let's say we decide to use poppins. Another thing you want to make sure of is that your icon size, okay, matches the size of your text. You do not want to have a large or big icon or icon with a large dimension, and then the text is looking very small. Okay, so they have to go alongside each other. They have to match their the proportions. So this is an example. You can see here that the size of this text is 12. Let me just start typing. We now have dashboard. You can barely even see what I'm writing. This is what it looks like. Imagine you place this alongside this guy. Okay, it's giving this David and Goliath vibe. Okay, so we're going to increase this to, let's say, 18, and try to reduce this to maybe 56. Or even 40. Let me make this straight. So this is much better. So you can see that when you click on this and try to align this, they kind of match each other. This one is not too big, this one is not too small, this one is not too big, this one is not too small. So most people even decide to use for their text to use 24. Now this is actually better. This is much better. Okay, so we're going to have the same thing for these guys. So I'm just going to select this, bring this here. I think we used 40 for that one. Was it 40 or 48? 40, yeah. And then drag this text here. I think we call this students. Call that students. And then we had the text, the task rather. 40, same 40. Change the text to this. Make sure it's aligned vertically. And then we had the settings. Zoom. Settings. Log out. So we're just going to check alignment or this, and also the spacing in between the icon and the text. So you can see here that we have 14. Can I decide to make this 16 and make it 16 across the rest of them too. So I'm just going to group this, Control G to group. Control G to group. Check alignment. Make this 16. Control G. The same thing here. 16. Control G. Select this. This is 16 already. Check to make sure that it's vertically aligned. And now when all this is done, I'm going to select all of them. Okay, and distribute vertical spacing. You click on distribute vertical spacing, you can see that this guy automatically comes up. So you can see that now you've distributed even spacing in between them. So the spacing in between them is 61. And I can decide to change that. So let's say 40. Okay. And also make sure that they are all aligned to the left. So this looks much better. And then with that still selected, you can hit Control A to add auto layouts, right? To add auto layouts to this. And then we're going to play around with our padding. So for the horizontal padding, we can decide that we want, you want it to have independent padding or individual paddings. So you can now go ahead to give the left padding a 16, probably, and give the right padding a 40. So this is what it's going to look like. Another thing that you need to take note of is the width of your frame. Okay, most people make use of desktop, most people make use of MacBook, and all of these different frames have different width, right? So you want to make sure that your site navbar is not too small, neither is it too big for your frame. So the first thing you want to take note of is the width of your frame. Okay. So we're going to have this, and I want to increase this a bit to make it maybe 48. I'll increase this to 24. So, and do the same thing for the top. The top, we're going to have 24 for the top and have 80 probably here. Yeah, but you can still go ahead and increase this. Okay. And I always love my the length or the height of my site navbar to match the height of my frame, because I do not like it hanging. So let me just add a field to this, and I'm just going to select all of this and change them to gray. Yes, make it gray 3. So yes, this is what it looks like. And let me just get a random frame, desktop frame. So this is our frame here. And let's assume that this is the dashboard. So for the dashboard, it's just like having your bottom navbar, right? What you want to do is make it look different in order not to confuse the users. Okay, if I'm a user and I tap on dashboard or tap on student or task, I don't expect it to remain the same. Okay, there has to be a change. There have to be this kind of confirmation or something to let me know that I'm actually on the dashboard. Okay, that something has actually happened, an action has taken place. So if I want to change this to any color at all, maybe let's say this color, because this is what I'm seeing on my color styles. So we can have this for the dashboard, and you can decide to make this, instead of regular, make it semi-bold, since that's the one that's been selected on. Most people go ahead to change the icons to field icons only for the ones that have been selected. So you can also do that. Okay, change the highlighted ones to field icons instead of the the normal outlined ones that you already have. So we can have this, and I'm just going to drag this down. So you can now decide to place this here. Sorry, that's what is my desktop. Yes. And let's see what happens if we add an effect to it. So you can see that effect by the side. So this is what a typical site nav bar will look like. I mean, there are other options. There are other options, right? There are other beautiful ways to design them. Okay. And I'll suggest you try to practice or look for inspiration and try to replicate them. Okay, that's how you learn. And of course, feel free to share it with us on the Discord channel when you have done that. Okay, so that's that about the site nav bar. The next thing I'm going to be showing you guys is how to create animations. So let me just push this to the side or like this to the side. Okay. So remember this design we had here? You know, I think we did this together, you know, the traveler websites. We did this together. So I'm just going to show you how to quickly create an animation, okay, prototype when you're done your website. So I'm just going to first of all copy this. I'm going to click on these frames. I think I told you that that's how I love to design my sections. I love them to have to like be in different frames. It's easier that way. Okay. It makes the work look nice too. So I'm just going to copy this out here. And this is how we're going to start our animation. So for this first one, how we want this animation to play out? That's the first question I like to ask myself. Okay, we have two different things here. So I can decide that I want these guys, I want to group these guys, group this text together, and I want this to come from the bottom to the top. Okay, when I'm playing out the animation. So I'm just going to take this down. Remember we said we want it to come from the bottom upwards. So what I like to do is, you know, most people just want to come here and hide, you know, hide this text. Okay, when you're trying to create your animation. But what I like to do is I'm going to reduce the pass-through to 0 and still take this text down a bit, take this out exactly. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this guy. So for this one, I want it to come from the top down. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to reduce the pass-through to 0 and I'm going to take this up. Take it up. Okay, that's okay. And then when I'm done, I'm going to select on this frame and duplicate it. So this is the first state. So what you're going to do is duplicate it for each and every state. So the next one that we're going to be doing for the next states now is where, you know, what's it called? The rectangle is coming down. Yes. So for this frame, I'm just going to do this so that I can find it. This is the rectangle. So I'm going to bring the rectangle into the frame, because I think this is the first thing that I want to start the animation with. So yes, I'm going to now increase this to 100 like it was before. So that this is right, aligned vertically. Okay, so now like I said, duplicates for each and every of the states. So the next thing now is to do this. I'm going to duplicate this, and for this one, I'm going to bring in this guy. Increase this pass through to 100. Bring it in. Bring it in. I think that's so we have this, right? And when that is done, okay, so when that is done, I'm just going to zoom out and I'm going to select all of them. Select all of them and click on this. Where you have the components, click on this drop down here and create multiple components. Create multiple components. When you've created multiple components, you click on combine as variants. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is click on prototype, right? So I'm going to select this first screen. So what do we want to happen when we select on this first screen? Let me just click this. It's obviously not on click, right? It's obviously not on click. So we want to have after delay, right? We want to have after delay. Sorry, after delay. Yes. And we don't want this to be instant, right? That'll be too fast, obviously. And so I'm just going to select smart animate. And I don't want to use ease out. There's this feel when you make use of slow. So it's just, you can watch the transition. There's this very nice feel that it gives. So I'm just going to select on slow. And 600 seems fine. Maybe let's make it 700. Okay. So we're going to repeat the same thing here. It's the same thing here. After delay, smart animate. So, okay. So when that is done, the next thing I want to do is let's select a design. The first one here is what you're going to drag out. Okay, the first component. You remember we created component here. So the first one here is what you're going to drag out, and then for the prototype, you're going to add starting points. Okay, flow starting point, which is this one. So for this one now, I'm going to click on this icon to play it out and increase this, open in presentation view and watch it play out. So just give that a minute to load. Let's see what we have. Fix this to screen. Fix this to screen. So you can see that when we start it, so we'll have a better view. To this dramatic. I'm trying to see if I could restart that, but I think Figma has other plans. I don't know if it's my network. Okay, so restart. You can see that. Remember the other one was supposed to come from the top and this one from the bottom. So yes, you can try this out in whatever designs you come up with. It could be for the portfolio websites that we asked you to design, or you could just get inspiration. I think Mayawa dropped a link that had a lot of other links, okay, on a document for websites that you could get your inspirations from. There are plenty of them, okay. We have Behance and the rest of them. So just try this out, and time will not permit. I would actually have, done the same thing for these other ones. Okay. But I also have another animation that I want to show you. So this is a design that I came up with, and it's face of a club, as you can see. So I want to create an animation that will make this second hand that you can see here to rotate, probably 360. Okay. So how exactly are we going to go about that? The first thing you want to do is design this. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot you can do with Figma. There's a lot of designs that you can do with Figma. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is design this. And when you've done that, you're just going to duplicate these screens. We're going to have screen 1. And then duplicate this, have screen 2. Screen 3. Oh, this is screen 2 now. Sorry. This is supposed to be 3. And this is screen 4. So we have 4 screens. Now, the next thing you want to do is, it's not magic, okay? It's not automatically start rotating itself. So what you want to do is click on this second hand, and you know that for this other one, it was 0. I mean, all of them are 0 because you duplicated them. So like at 0 degrees. So we're going to change this one to minus 90 degrees. Let me click out so you can see that. You can see where it is now. Okay. So, and then for this one, we're going to change this guy to 180 degrees. You can see that it's changing, right? It's almost 360 now. This is what's going to help the rotation too. And then for this one, we're going to change this to 90 degrees. Okay, you can see the difference. So when we have this, what you want to do next is link them up to your prototype, right? So what's going to happen when I link this first thing? Obviously not going to be on top. Okay, so it's after delay. And we don't want it to be instant. We want it to be smart animation. We're just going to leave it is out. And for this one, we're going to use 1 ms, 1 millisecond. And for this one, we're going to make use of 10,000 because we don't want it to be too fast. You know how the second hand, how it rotates. we all have wall clothes. I mean, the world is going digital, so people barely have that in their homes anymore. But I remember when my dad used to put us on hot seats, he's just going to wake up and all of a sudden he's asking you, Favor, what's the time? I'm like, okay, you have a phone. What's going on? So, I mean, all of this form part of our childhood, right? So, yes, we're going to have 10,000 millisecond here, and basically going to have the same thing for all of them. So, I'm going to link this up after delay, same thing, smart animates, same thing here, after delay. Navigate to screen for smart animates. I'm just making sure. And then we're going to link this particular screen, we're going to link it back to the first one. It's going to be the same thing, basically. Yeah. So we have this now. Okay. So we have screen one, screen two, screen three, screen four. So when that is done, I'm just going to already have a flow starting point here. So I'm just going to click on this to play, and we're going to so I'm sure you can see this. You can see it's moving. And it actually looks very beautiful to watch. So yes, this is how we could come up with this. So like I said, whatever is being practiced in class, try, okay, even if you want to replay the video as many times as possible, okay, try to replicate or try to practice out, okay? And there are a lot of other things that you could do, a lot of other beautiful and cool animations that you could try out or learn. So feel free to learn them, to practice out. Feel free to make mistakes too, because that's how you learn. So yes, we've come to the end of today's class. I think I mentioned that it's going to be a very short but very interesting one. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask.